Fight!
Yo, hey girl, it's LadyChann, nonetheless, and welcome to Crawford v. Porter. Was it a premature stoppage on the weekly wrap-up show? Let me know, guys, if you can hear me, if my mic sounds nice. Chickity check 1, check 2. Does my mic sound nice? Right, let me just sort out all the logistics at the helm. Let me sort this out. 1 second. Ah, la 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 la. Where am I? Where am I? Hang on, gotta find me. There I am. The old girl's live now. Does my mic sound nice? Check 1. Okay, I can see myself. Estoy aquí in the building. Okay, I need to put some lip gloss on. Because I ain't repping right now without my lip gloss popping. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Oh my nutty. I realise I do things while I'm live on air, forgetting slyly that I'm live on fucking air. You know, you do things when you're getting ready in your house and you sing little songs and make up little jingles. I do it in front of you lot. I'm crazy. Estoy loca. See? Okay, so the mic is good. Let me just hail up everyone that's coming through like a mile. Woohoo! AJ in the building. Okay, Mark Nash in the building. What are you saying? Sean and Kenny both did a great job. Nothing to be ashamed of, in my opinion. Okay. Mark's just already started with his comment. I ain't even got it yet. Mark's like, here's a comment. Here's a rebut. You don't even know my opinion. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Like, you know, people have time to digest from the time of watching the fight to I have many different angles. Okay, just trying to get the correct seating position. Okay. Right, so let me put the link in the chat. Oops, that wasn't supposed to come up. No. Stupido. Okay. Copied. Just put that in there. Well, the links in the chat so come through like a mine. And Valdez in the build. Let me fix this mic so don't be slipping on me. All right, Valdez, you ain't missed much. I've just come in rambling as I do. You know me, as CHANN does. Okay. Oh, Donald Banks, thank you for the super chat. Okay, when you come to the US, you can stay at my house. Ah, saucy, eh? Saucy. But yeah, thanks for the invite. So now, you just be talking shit. Talk your shit. You know, talk your shit, D. Talk your shit. You know, I rock with it. Everybody's free to be who they be. You know, I talk my shit as well. So, you know, and you rock with me. So anyway, so let's start introducing people. When I introduce you, there's about 3 people in the trot. So I I'll say a group hello once you're all on the panel. So I'm introducing, introducing, introducing Kenny Can. Yes, Kenny, what's up?
You know what? I had to, you know what? There's no way whatsoever that I'm going to be eating all that food and then hoping that I don't choke whilst I'm doing this podcast. So you know what? Food's not running away. It's going to be eaten. It's going to be eaten tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, Ken, all that for me. Are you sure? Because I know you must
No,
be
seriously, it's nothing to do with that. There's nothing worse than eating so fast, especially when you're eating loads of meat.
I know.
This indigestion is such a turn off, definitely for me anyway.
Yeah, I get you. I appreciate you coming, Ken. Thanks, because I know time was maybe not of the essence, but thank you for coming. You know, one of my favourite people in life, so I'm always look, I always got a smile on my face when old Kenny Ken comes through. Yeah. So let's just get the other people on the panel. I'm introducing, introducing. AJ all day. Alex in the building. What's up, AJ?
We all need a Terrence that we understand. Beat on Sean because he's wrong. I'm sorry.
Your intro song. You've
I'm
always
sorry,
got a gold intro. I love it. I bloody love it.
How
Welcome,
you
AJ. Welcome,
Good,
Alex.
Ken.
To the
Good,
building.
Lisa.
Yep, and we are going to be introducing, introducing Lisa Queen Bells. Bells.
Lisa.
In the building. What's up,
Hey,
Lee?
what's going on, LadyChann, Kenny Ken, and AJ?
Hello, Lisa.
Yo.
Hey, Jane.
We're here. We're here.
I'm hanging.
We're hanging. We're hanging like bats.
Mm-hmm.
We like bats.
Great analogy. Yeah, great analogy.
Yeah, we hang like bats out here. And sometimes, you know, definitely we hang like bats because it's in the nighttime as well. You know.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Bat-like. Daniel.
I'm still celebrating.
Yeah, I know. Daniel, me too. Let me say hi to who said Daniel Rios. What's up, panel? What's up, chat? He's in the building. Roland Curtis in the building. Yep. I'm introducing. Yep, that's me. My Donald Banks in the building. Thank you again for the super chat, Donald. James Valdez, Mark Nash in the building. So, all right, so let's chop it up. Let's start. Let's talk. The link is in the chat. When people come through, you want to be on the panel, you jump on this one. It's fine. We're talking about Crawford v. Porter. Was it a premature stoppage? So let's do a ladies first one, and let's get Lisa in the buildings. What? Tell me. Talk to me.
When I was watching, when I was
ahead.
watching the fight, I was like, why did they stop it? I felt like, wow, because I at first I thought he hurt his knee, because when he fell down, he fell on his knee, and then he was banging the canvas, and I said, is he hurt? But then I was like, his pops came up on the I forgot what you call it,
the apron,
and then the apron. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And he was just like, what? I said, what? And so I'm thinking that he was looking from a perspective of a father. He didn't want his son to get hurt anymore. Because Bud, you know, he's a great finisher and he will turn it up to 1 million. You know what I mean? He's going to get you up out of there. So it was just like, what? I just didn't understand it. But then when I was listening to the post-fight interview, it was like almost as if he was saying that Sean wasn't doing some of the things in training that he needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why he said that like that in public. You know what I mean? So it was a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he got booed for saying that because, you know, it's a bit uncouth saying that out loud. Yeah. Ken.
Yeah. How you
What
doing?
do you think? How you doing? What's going on? Tell me, what did you think about the
You know
fight
what? You know what?
and the stoppage, more importantly?
Well, in terms of the fight, you know, Sean Porter, we now know why Sean Porter was so vigorous. He was showing a lot of energy in the early rounds because I think this, you know, we now know that that represented his last chance at the big time of winning a world title because, you know, he's promptly retired. So in terms of the fight, he's very aggressive, very vigorous, you know, threw some good right hands, got through a lot, you know, but, you know, I always thought that, you know, that Crawford would probably punch perfect. If you look at the reason why the stoppage happened in the 10th, it was the proof was in the pudding, probably in the 8th and 9th rounds when I thought Porter was slowing down. And then there was an instance in the 9th round, he was caught with an uppercut and that stung him. And I think that was like a prelude into round 10 where he went into round 10 hurt. He got put down by a punch, that punches that he was evading, the uppercut, caught him flush. And then after that, you know, it was combos that took him out. I think, you know, at the time I was thinking, well, he looked compos mente, but no doubt about it, had he carried on, he would have been put down again. And, you know, and he probably would have been stopped and referee would have just taken it out of his hands anyway, because he wasn't evading punches. You know, he wasn't doing any feints. He was just there to be knocked out. And I think his dad, you know, at the end of the day, it's your son. You know, but it's very bizarre for his you know, for his dad to say that he didn't do the things in training, he didn't do that. Now, I'm not taking a dig at his dad, but you are your son's trainer. But if that was what was going on, then if this is meant to be your last chance at the big time, then surely you would have, you know, done the things that your dad asked you to do, and you would have trained a bit harder. But you know, hindsight's is one of the best things on earth after the event. But saying that, you know, he was going to get knocked out anyway. I have to be honest. You know, it was coming. It was coming. If you're not evading punches and you're there to be hit, his dad's got to put his son first, not the fans who felt cheated. But then again, they got 10 rounds of great championship boxing. They got 2 knockdowns. You know, I don't think they were cheated.
Nice one, Ken. I'll go last. So AJ, you go.
Do I think the stoppage was premature? No. I mean, let me start from the beginning. It was a good fight. You know, Porter, Sean had his moments. I think I gave him 3 rounds before the stoppage. But Terrence was essentially in control of the fight, I felt. You know, he lived up to his word. He pretty much did what he wanted. Didn't let Sean, you know, rush it, charge him or anything like that. He kind of, you know, smothered him and clenched him just so Sean couldn't get off, which I thought was very smart. You know, I like Bud's angles. He pivoted. He had great movement and footwork, and he just wasn't letting Sean have his way. And that's how he was staying, you know, in control of the fight. And it was impressive because, like, before, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I saw a video that captured the audio of before round 10. Somebody
what was it?
Somebody told Bud that he was down on the cards.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're right. He heard that.
I am.
He's like, I am right. Well, how? And then he's like, okay, fine, all right. Then he went in and dropped Sean like in the next 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, but do I think the stoppage was premature? No, I don't. I know that Sean is he's a warrior. He would have continued fighting, and I think that when he got dropped the second time, I mean, when he got dropped the first time, you know, he that put him on edge. You know, then he just rushed in, lunged in again. Bud saw right through it, let off with counter shots and put him down again. Then when he banged his glove on the canvas of frustration, that meant a lot of things. He realized that he wasn't. I think he knew deep down where this was heading, and he wasn't going to win the fight. And I know he would have continued, but you know, I think his dad was right to pull him out to stop the fight because he, you know, if it would have continued, he'd have got dropped again, or the ref would have jumped in, like Ken said. And you know, he wasn't going to win. So you know, I have no issue with his dad pulling him out and stopping the fight. But I kind of, you know, I don't like what he said afterwards. I thought it was kind of petty. That kind of threw him under the bus a bit. I had him prep and training and stuff like that. I mean, we know you stopped the fight because you know he was about to get knocked out. You know, so it's okay to just say that. Don't say he didn't prep properly. You know.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Welcome, Sentos. We'll get to you after. Let me say my piece. I'm not okay with the stoppage. there's many angles that I see it. I see it from all of you guys' angle, but I'm not okay with the stoppage. At the end of the day, your son's his own man. Your son's a warrior. This is a very, if this was a non-title fight as such, pull him out. Tomorrow's another day. You ain't got much to, you know, there's nothing really on the line. You knew this was probably going to be your son's last hurrah, because he said that it was his last hurrah with the Spence fight. And he continued to, hang on one second. You guys are capping when you tell me that my mic's fine and my mic's not even plugged in, guys. You lot are bad.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I know, but it's because my laptop mic is good. But it's, yeah, now I should be mic'd up, back to being mic'd. Yeah. He knew that this was his last hurrah. He said it, that the Spence fight was going to be their last hurrah, and he got mandated by the WBO. Obviously, he still wanted to go on. Otherwise, he would have retired before being eligible to be mandated. This is your son's last hurrah. It's a big fight. He's already been two-time welterweight champion of the world. Great accolades in itself. So on his last chance of anything, you decide, because you haven't seen your son, which you have seen your son be dropped, and you've seen your son be dropped twice and still win, by the way. If I've seen it, he was definitely there. You've seen it, Kenny. Your son's a warrior. Your son's a man. Was Bud going to beat him? Yes. With those two knockdowns, obviously he's already lost 3 points. Yes, he's not going to win. But why rob him of a dignified loss? It's boxing. Just because you haven't seen your son go through something before, it's all that read to me that you panicked. Cool. I would panic. It's my kid. So that's why I say I see it from all different angles. But that's why it's also a conflict of interest when you're also the trainer and the parent. In the end, it messes it up. Don't care what anybody tells me. It's too much of a conflict of interest. So, and you didn't like what he wasn't doing in training. You're the trainer. So what he wasn't doing in training was because of you. So if you didn't like it, that you've got to take some responsibility for the L.
That's a very good point.
Don't throw it all on your son. You're the trainer. You've been training him since he was 6, 7, 8 years old. So if anything was going pear-shaped, you live opposite him. Your son bought a house opposite you. So if your son wasn't coming into training between Friday and Sunday, if you didn't like it, why didn't you knock the door and say, yo, we're going to the gym? It's on you, Kenny, as well. So him throwing his son under the bus, for me, is sickening. To throw in the towel and then throw your son under the bus is sickening to me. You robbed your son of a dignified loss. You made it questionable for people to and ah about, oh, did Bud really fight the best Sean Porter? Well, I'm going to clear that up, because his first post-fight interview, you can go check it out with Fight Hype, who works on his podcast. Sean said, hang on, lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? Was that, what did I just say just before that?
The Fight Hype interview.
Yeah, but what was that? What was the bit what I wanted to say of why in the Fight Hype interview? It just evaded my mind. It's just slipped my mind. I hate when things like that happen.
You were saying that he may not was that the best Sean Porter that Terrence Porter.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, sis. So you're making people think, well, that's not the best Sean Porter. Well, how Sean Porter kind of put an end to that was kind of like, when the fighters get into the tail end of their career, instead of going in guns blazing, like he says, going through the fire in training, they do like 3/4 of a push and use that last quarter for the actual fight, because that's all they've got left. And that's what he said. So maybe his dad picked up on that, you know, he wasn't putting himself through the fire. But that's no disrespect to Bud, because it was still the best of what he could do in the ring. So if you hate Bud, you're going to run with the narrative that this wasn't the best Sean Porter that Bud beat. So I just wanted to clarify that and make sure everybody was quite aware of that, and check out the Fight Hype interview of him, you know, shutting down certain things. We're going to talk more on the Fight Hype interview, but Bev, thank you. I can see it on this monitor for the super sticker, $9.99. Thank you so much. Back to you. Such a cute little animation. Thank you so much, girl. Massively appreciated. Okay, so do you guys get what I was saying?
Yeah. You made a lot of fair points, and it's funny because you know what Terrence said weeks ago before the fight. He was being interviewed, and he said that if he beat Sean more impressively than anyone else has, people are going to say that Sean was washed up and he was past it. That's what Terrence himself said weeks ago.
Yeah, so he premeditated what the narratives was going to be. Okay, we've got another panel member, Sentos. What's up, Sentos? You'd like to give your rundown of, do you think it was a premature stoppage, or what do you think?
No, I think it was appropriate because what we had was a great high optimum athlete who's achieved probably above what his expectations were throughout his amateur and professional career. He's one of the best boxing athletes we've ever seen. He's got one of the best punch resistance that I've ever seen in a fighter. And I heard you say he had been knocked down more than 2 times. I've only seen him knocked down twice throughout his career. I could be wrong about that.
I didn't say that. I said I've seen him be knocked down twice and still win.
You say he won. You say he came up and won, but I know he only won 1 time, and that was against Broner, the first knockdown. The last time he lost.
He got knocked down in the Ugas fight and twice, and he won. That's what I said.
I don't think they credited Ugas with a knockdown though.
They did.
I feel you what you're saying. That's why I was trying. I like I said, I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 3. I thought it was always 2, but I guess because they didn't credit Ugas with one knockdown.
He got credited with 1 knockdown, 1 slippage, but my whole point is he still went down twice and still won.
Yeah, but you've never seen this guy knocked down twice, especially in the same round. And when he attempted to get up, he stumbled when he was trying to get up to his knees. He was clearly hurt. He did waste a little time pounding the canvas, which was smart because you don't want to get up and fall right back down or look ugly when you get up trying to get your legs under you. And I think being that his dad and him have been together and so dedicated to one another since he was 8 years old boxing, I think his dad, knowing this kid since he was born, knew how far he could push his son, knew when his son was giving his best and when he wasn't. And I think he knew when his son had enough in the ring or not. I think his dad did what he's supposed to do because we have seen quite a few fighters in the past 3 years die in the ring. Sometimes you can let it go too far. And Sean Dad already suspecting he wants to retire anyway. Sean desires to be analyst and a commentator, whichever one you want to call it. I think he was ready to start living that lifestyle, and he was done with boxing. But as we saw, a guy who admittedly in his interview with Fight Hype didn't give his best in training. Sean said this. He didn't give his best because he was trying to save it for the fight so he can have that extra in the fight to go balls to the wall.
Yeah, I just said that.
With him being that type of guy that can train not as hard as his dad has seen him train and still give that type of performance, hats off to him. He's a great fighter. No matter if he didn't achieve all the biggest fights, he is a 2-time champion. He has given everyone all that they can handle in the ring from an opponent whenever he was in the ring with them. I think he's a great champion. Terrence Crawford is my guy. And I was one of the main persons that was saying online that I don't think either of these guys get knocked out. And I still don't call that a knockout personally. I just call stoppage.
Very
But
technical.
at the same time, these were two great warriors fighting. Terrence did not give us Bud, the game dog that he can give us when he gets mad. He gets hit with a good shot. The way he comes after guys, he didn't give us that. The only time he really tweaked it up is right before he knocked Porter down, and that's because someone indicated that they're saying that you're down on the cards, and he went out there and turned it up. But other than that, these were true friends. He didn't want to get. He couldn't. I don't think Terrence could bring himself to get to
with his mate. Yeah, it couldn't just be up his mate. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You think he held back? You think he held back and took it easy on Sean?
Yeah, I think he. There was some of him that held back because they'd grown up. I've seen pictures of them since they was like 12, 13 years old.
Wow, why they go that far back?
Yeah, hanging out.
They're true friends.
They're really true friends. So yeah, I think that it was hard to turn on the spite for that. What's Haplo saying? That was not going too far. He was a little hurt, but he may have been able to get out of the round faster feet.
But we have to consider.
Consideration that it was another minute and a half left of that round Hap. So he might have probably would have got dropped again. I can see from more. Go ahead.
We have to remember, us as fans, being a fan, we watch boxing for a few reasons, and one of those main reasons for entertainment. We have to understand that we're not the ones in the ring fighting. We don't know it. We're not feeling everything the guys are going through and the women are going through as they're being hit, and as they're bouncing around the ring trying to figure out a way to beat this their opponent. So, to me, it's more of us being selfish, wanting to see it go farther. I'm a fan just like everyone else. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it go on farther, but I think it was an appropriate stoppage because I think his dad knows his son. I think his trainer knows his fighter. And I think it was appropriate that why let him get hurt worse? He wasn't going to win the fight.
Because it's boxing. And
you got to remember.
When have we got to the point where all of a sudden we stop boxers from getting knocked out all the time? Like this is boxing.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to see a guy die in the ring. I'm tired of seeing guys die in the ring.
We see
so I don't want to see
not everybody dies that gets knocked out.
But if this guy's on his last fight, why does he have to go out like Roy Jones and a few others?
Why not?
Because it's not necessary. It's not necessary for a great fighter to have to go out disrespectfully like
knocked out on your last fight. It's boxing.
No, it's not. It's not necessary. Well, for my entertainment, it's not good.
That's my opinion.
That's fine. That's fine. But these guys have lives to live.
But at the end of the day, everybody.
But can I finish giving my opinion about this fight?
Yeah,
you tested me like I'm talking. I wasn't contesting what you were saying. I was just giving you my opinion.
Yeah, I know.
Can I finish doing that?
Yeah, can we keep it moving though? Because there's a lot on the panel.
Yeah, I can if you're going to interrupt. Never mind. I'm done. Go ahead.
That's all I was saying. If you want to finish, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. So I'm just saying. So can everybody see the different angles of because when have we got to the place where knockouts? We don't want to see knockouts. All right. So you guys tell me as men, not as how when you started watching boxing, okay, we have come a long way. Kenny, let's start with you. We've come a long way. I get it. Nobody wants to see a boxer damaged or have irreparable damage. But when have we got to the point in boxing where, oh my God, let's quickly throw in the towel before he gets knocked out? Why have we got there? There?
Yeah, the thing about it is that I've grown up, with situations where I have seen fights where fighters have died in the ring. Yeah. I've actually seen it live, so it's not a pleasant sight, and it's a thing. It makes you think. One of a lot of British fighters, fight fans. Our legacy is Michael Watson, Chris Eubank. Another one of our legacies is Ben for Nigel Benn as well, when he was involved in a similar situation as well. I remember going far back as the early 80s when, Young and Ali and, Barry McGuigan in 1981, Nigerian fighter, where died Henry. So, yes, we are we are. It's like the Romans, where like we love the fact to see the gladiator fight the lion, and we like to see if the gladiator can come on top or the lion kills the gladiator. That is in us, but we're in a situation now is that there's no accident that we've gone from 15 rounds to 12 rounds for a reason, because of safety, and now we're in a situation where fighters are getting pulled out a lot earlier. Referees have to protect the fighter, because at the end of the day, if they don't protect the fighter, they won't be able to referee again. Fans want to see knockouts, but people behind the scenes and fighters and fighting authorities don't want to see fighters get hurt. They can't afford to do it, because at the end of the day, they probably haven't got the right insurance, and even if they had the insurance, these governing bodies can't afford to pay out life insurance.
He wanted to continue. That's even what Hap's saying.
Yeah, every fight
wants to continue.
I hate you saying every fighter wants to continue. Deontay Wilder didn't want to be knocked out in February 2020. Yeah, but
we allowed it. He wanted it. He said, "Don't do it again."
It's fine. It's fine. But that doesn't stop the fact that Deontay Wilder, last month, should never have been allowed to carry on, but he did carry on for entertainment. But he had blood coming out of his ear, which is a brain injury. So that's fine.
Or perforated eardrum, not always a brain.
But perforated eardrum and being punched around, it's still going to affect your brain. And for me, I get why it's great to see someone unconscious on the floor, but at the end of the day, part of me thinks, sometimes you don't want to see people get hurt. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to. The last thing, I don't know what it's like in America, but in this country, the minute something like happens, you get people who don't care about the sport, mostly psychologists and people who just want to get their payday on a chat show to talk bollocks about boxing. That we should ban boxing, and sometimes we're just trying to prevent these Philistines for getting their business.
I'm with these lot. Like, I can see everything that you guys are saying. Everything that you guys are saying. You guys can feel free to chime in. I'm just like, there's emotion that you will have in the sport. The sport's come a long way with how procedures are done, but I'm not with the thing of just in case you get knocked out, we're stopping fights. That's not what people spend their money for. That's not what. Not everybody that gets knocked out suffers, like I said, irreparable damage. It's a part of the. It's a part of the risk that you take being a gladiator. You may die even getting tapped. You may die even getting tapped on the nose, and you've got a brain aneurysm. That's the risk that no one wants to see that, but that's the risk that may take. That is not even an equilibrium.
Yeah, LadyChann, do you seriously want to? LadyChann, do you seriously want to watch a fight where the fighter's hands are down? He's got no defense whatsoever, and he's just getting punched. And we call him a brave fighter when it's not a fight. From about after Deontay Wilder ran out of gas, from about round 9 to 11, it wasn't a fight. His hands were down. He was hardly throwing a punch.
It wasn't the same, Ken. It wasn't as brutal. Deontay Wilder, I could see why that was getting stopped, because that was brutal. That was brutal in the end. Number 2 was brutal. Number 3 was even brutal, but the dude said, "Listen, heads will roll if you stop the fight."
I respect him, but
that's his right. But at the end of the day, you can't say that that Sean Porter was getting that amount of it wasn't the same as the Deontay Wilder thing. The dude was compos mentos. He was like, a little bit shaky. I clocked that a little bit. And maybe Kenny saw that and thought, nah, cool. I get it. This is what I'm saying. From all different angles, I get it. But there's definitely a conflict of interest where if this is his last show and this is his last time of possibly becoming a 3-time champion, at least let him, if it starts looking like for real that he's getting battered, for real, I'm not a sadomasochist. For real, stop it. But there could have been a little bit more Because now there
And you
is.
know, Sean Porter's the fighter, and he said himself on more than one occasion since the end of that fight, my dad did what he was supposed to do. He said that they had already talked about it more than once. And
No,
the
he
first
didn't
time he
say
got
that.
knocked down, he looked at his dad and let him know he was all right.
He
The
didn't say
second
that.
time, he
He
knew his
didn't
dad
say
was going to stop that fight
He
because
didn't
he
say that. We
stumbled a
talked
little bit.
about it more than once. He said
Yes, he
we've
did.
never talked.
No,
He said we've never
no.
talked about throwing in
He
that
mentioned it in different.
we've spoken
Said
about it.
I looked
Oh
at
God,
least
this
three
is just going
interviews
to
with
be
Sean
like
Porter.
back
He
and
said the
forth with
same
you.
thing.
Get off.
Said Shan, I've looked at 3 different interviews
Okay.
with Sean Porter.
Anyway,
He said the same thing.
right now.
He and his dad has talked about this situation already, and the
Okay.
fact that his
All
dad
right.
did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Cool.
And
Cool.
Sean has he's not happy about it because he's a gladiator. All fighters, no fighter, even if it's a street fight
Got to be
or
accurate when you're
organized fight,
quoting
no
things.
fighter wants to be stopped when they're fighting. But
You
at the
got to be
same time,
accurate when
sometimes you
you're
got to
quoting
pull them
things.
out.
That's all I think. You just got to be accurate when you quote things, because that
I know,
wasn't the quote.
I know what I saw. I know what I
That wasn't
saw,
the
and I
quote.
know what I heard.
All right
And he
then.
said his
Thanks,
dad
thanks.
and him have already talked about it, and he did exactly what he
He
was supposed
said
to
that
do.
him and his
His
dad agreed
dad saw.
about
He
it,
said
but
his dad he
are
saw
we just
something
going
that
to
he
be back
didn't.
and forth thing? This is a panel where everybody's getting to talk, and it seems like me and you's bickering, and it's annoying. You're not on here to
Because
bicker.
you cut
We're
me
not on
off when I
here
was
to
trying to give my
bicker.
little opinion earlier,
And
and
then I gave
you
you
don't
the
want anyone to
opportunity to
contest what
finish,
you're saying.
and I gave you the opportunity
Okay,
to finish, and you didn't
all
want
right.
to.
I'll talk to you later. Bye
All
bye.
right, see you later. Bye. See ya. God. I haven't
Well,
got time
he really
for
seems to press your buttons.
shit.
He really seems to press your buttons, doesn't he?
It's just like comes on just to bicker, like, and just talks. Bye. Boy, bye. I really don't care.
Where were we? I'm sorry, we got lost in the
Yeah,
sauce.
it's like we have to have some long-winded fucking things for like 20 minutes, and then and like there's no fluidity allowed, and then you get blamed of like cutting in, and then when you give him the chance to say something, then he's like, oh, I don't want to do it now. Well, get off then.
By the way, Chan, could I just say this?
Yeah.
You could cut people off if you want. It's your panel and your channel.
Yeah, and how do you always do chop it up? Everyone does get I do go around the panel, and everyone does get
you give everybody a turn, yeah.
It's to be mixed up. Like sometimes Kenny might say something, I go, yeah, but Ken, you get me? Like it's called a conversation. It's not all the time that we have to just sit down and listen to someone talk for 25 fucking minutes. And in a minute I say something, I'm cutting them in. Well, get off then. Go somewhere else and do your own thing. Don't care either. Not in the mood. I know that sounds brutal, but it always happens to him. It sounds like it has to be bickering. Go somewhere else and bicker.
I get it. Could I get my take?
Of course you can. No, you can't. I'm joking.
I mean, you're making fascinating points. I mean, like I mostly watch you for entertainment. If I'm being honest, I love knockouts as much as the next guy. I really do. But at the same time, if I'm seeing a fighter taking too much punishment where he can't defend himself, I'm okay with it being stopped. I'm okay with somebody jumping in to intervene, and sometimes, like, the fighters don't know when to quit. I mean, we have several examples of fighters not walking away from the sport when they should have. You know what I mean? Several examples. And now look at them, the punch drunk. Something's wrong with them, so stuff like that, because they just didn't know when to give up. So I hear your points. I do agree. I mean, because for me, I'm an acquired taste when it comes to certain boxers. I like knockouts. I like defensive mastery. I like chess matches, stuff like that. I'm a variety guy when it comes to a bunch of different styles and like what I like to watch in a match. So I mean, but I like knockouts too. I mean, like every now and then I watch the Jillian Jackson highlight reels.
Yeah, we like it on the highlight reels. Welcome, Coach Malachi Williams.
What up, Coach?
Hey, what's good, my brother? What's going on?
Hold on.
Hello, Coach.
What's good, my brother? What's happening? Salute to everybody on the panel, man.
Hello, Coach.
Matter of fact, hold on. I didn't mean to interrupt. Let's give everybody on the panel a round of applause.
Yes. We're trying to get excitement. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, gosh.
But Jen, just to close out right quick, thank you for making that point about Kenny's dad giving that. I'm sorry, Sean's dad giving that excuse, like how he pulled him out. Oh, he didn't prepare properly. Well, I mean, like if he didn't prepare properly, that's your fault as much as it is his. Because you're his trainer.
Exactly.
So, you know, you get no brownie points there, man. You just made yourself look like a dumbass by saying that.
By saying that, to doing that with your son. But yeah, I just thought, like I said, I see everybody's angles, and I just wanted to offer like certain other angles. But Mal, not congratulations. Welcome to the panel. What do you think? Oh God, yeah. Well, what you just
you mean about the early stoppage?
Yeah, just early stop. Do you think it was? Because you might not think it was an early stoppage. So I'm just
no. It definitely was an early stoppage. He shouldn't have stopped the fight, in my opinion. My opinion is this. Come on, he wasn't hurt. He wasn't hurt like that. He got back up. Now, I never seen Shawn Porter get knocked down twice in a round, right? Mm-hmm. I never seen him on the pounding on the mat, but that's not a reason to stop the damn fight. He was fine. Now, I will say this, Shan. Let him at least see can he finish the round. You owe Shawn Porter that. That's all I think. You owe him that much. Now, you can say, well, man, we know Bub was going to do this and that. That might be true, but that's not the point. The point is he came to the ring wearing Marvin Hagler wore. Let him go out on his... You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying let him go to what Wilder went through. I'm not saying that.
No, this is what we're saying.
Just see can he finish the round. You owe him that much. See can he finish the round. The fight shouldn't have been stopped. And that's my opinion. Now, do I believe he would have won the fight? No. I think at that point, it was a, Bud, okay, this guy, he's going to lunge in. When he lunged in, pap, I got him again. He got dropped lunging in twice. So I said, but did he deserve to finish the round to see can he at least go 12 rounds? Yes, Kenny Porter never should have threw the towel in, and I totally disagree with that.
And then blame him. Oh, I threw the towel in because he didn't train well. That is wild to me. Ken, Lisa, I threw the towel in because you didn't train well, but I'm your trainer. Does it make... Do you see when you put things into context, how weird that sounded? Like, wouldn't you say, guys, that is throwing your kid under the bus? And of course, and we've seen it time and time again with good old Shawn Porter. He always protects his dad. That's such an admirable thing to do. Even when his dad has been in the wrong, he'll still stand there and go, I get why my dad did it, or my dad was in the right. You saw that he was fucked off. When his dad threw that and he realized that his dad threw, he took a beeline away from his dad, walked around the ring, and then came back like pissed. You tell me how happy was he? And he said it's something that we had talked about in general, but for this fight, we'd never talked about throwing no towel in.
Didn't Shawn say that in his post-fight interview? He said, "I didn't know he was going to do that."
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
When we do quotes, the other quote was from, "We talked about throwing in towels, like in general, not this specific fight." Because he clarified in this specific fight, this was a total shock to me that my dad did that, because we've never discussed that. We didn't discuss that for this. Mm-hmm. So when people use quotes, you have to use them correctly, or don't bother saying them at all, because then you start to bend the truth to what you want it to back what you feel.
Yeah, twisting it to fit your narrative. That's all. Yeah.
And I'm a content creator, and everything I saw, I was the one that was reporting it. I was one of the first people to report the post-fight first interview that he'd done. When I watched the post-fight interview, it had one view. By the time I edited I filmed what I was saying, and edited it and put it out, within half an hour, it had 7.5K views. Mm-hmm. So when I watched it, there was either myself was the only person that watched it or one other person. So no one come on here and try to tell me what somebody said when I was the first one to watch it and actually gave it to people. Especially
so people got to be right even though they're wrong.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, and then you're telling me about that he didn't get dropped. It wasn't deemed as a drop. whether or not something's deemed as a drop or not, the guy still got dropped. Is my point, and I still seen him win.
Well, what are you talking about? What do you mean it wasn't deemed as a draw? What are you talking about?
No, when
Ugas fight. Ugas fight.
when he's talking about the Ugas fight, so.
Okay. Well,
said before, he was saying, yeah, but it wasn't deemed as a drop. But I said, whether it's not deemed as a drop, even in this fight, we could say he got dropped 3 times because he fell in this fight, and that was deemed not as a drop. But some people could say it was, it doesn't matter. If you falling, you're falling, right?
I mean, Terrence Crawford got dropped like Kavanaugh. It wasn't deemed as a drop, but that doesn't mean he didn't drop.
Doesn't mean that. This is what I'm saying. Doesn't mean that it wasn't dropped. So all I was trying to say was, for my point is, like, let the dude. Maybe he wouldn't have seen out the rest of the round because there was a minute and a half. But at least could we see?
I mean, it's funny, like Coach, it's funny you said it because, like, I remember when he beat Kavalauskas, that's all everybody was talking about as critics. Oh, he got dropped. Okay, it's not like he got up and knocked Kavalauskas down 3 times and stopped him. It's not like he did that afterwards. Oh, no, they just got to focus on, Crawford got dropped.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to. So this is what I'm saying. So all I hear everybody's point, and everybody in the chat, salute to the chat. A lot of people are like, some people, it's pretty much split down the middle. It's like some people are like, yeah, it should have been stopped, and some people are like, nah, man, like, do you think does anybody, Ken, do you think it's a conflict of interest I'll ask everyone in the panel, you guys just dive in, do you guys think it's a conflict of interest of having your dad as your trainer?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think so because because that affects that affects proper judgment. It really does, because like you're stopping the fight as his father, not a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's what's going on.
Yeah, I spot. I don't know what it is, but some fight. Fathers who train their sons have never had that problem, innit? So the late Enzo Calzaghe never had that problem because his son won all his fights. But I'm not a fan of family members training fighters, because at the end of the day, you can't take your father to work with you.
I think Tim Tszyu doesn't let his dad watch his fights. He said it throws him off.
And Errol Spence Jr. stopped having Cena train him as well.
Yep.
Angel needs to go as well for Danny Garcia. They have a lot of problems. Teofimo and Cena,
oh, good Lord.
That's a bad one. That's going to go into part.
I call his dad T Diddy. Want to be all in the video. Dancing.
All up in the ring.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, T.O. Diddy. It's true, and it's just like, and that will maybe go. That you can see where that's heading. Bill Haney took a kind of step back of being the head trainer because of this as well. So he knew where it could go to. There's more crashes of parent trainer than more good successful, meaning there's success, there's no equilibrium. Like there's success either as that their fighter or son achieves massive success as a fighter, but their personal relationship suffers, or it's vice versa, or like their personal relationship excels but their kid underachieves in the ring and doesn't achieve, the best thing. So I just don't know. I think it's just a tricky one.
Can I add something right quick?
I think your dad or your mum in your corner, so there's a certain amount of comfort for that as well. So it's kind of like a head fuck, really.
Can I add something right quick to that? Sorry, go ahead, Lisa.
Let Lisa go ahead, and then you can go after AJ. No worries.
I just personally think it can be a conflict of interest. It depends. But the thing is that you have to know when to let your son or daughter, when you can take them as far as you can take them, then put them in the right hands or get a better trainer that can help them more technically, et cetera, because not everybody, a lot of these guys that are trainers, not all of them are trainers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're learning on the job. Maybe it's a little different with Mayweather, Roger, and Floyd Sr., but I mean they were fighters as well, so they had to learn how to become trainers. So
yeah, was Sean's dad? Sean's dad was never a fighter, was he?
I don't think so. No.
He probably boxed. He could have. I'm not sure.
I don't think he was ever a pro boxer. I don't ever hear anything being talked about him as a boxer, like with some of the other. Yeah, I don't think he was a pro boxer. No, he don't have a box rec. Let me check. No, but so he may not understand certain levels of what it's like to also be a boxer. I'm just saying, like, can you not give your kid the benefit of the doubt? So Kenny, you think, let's just go back to you. You think it was a stoppage that should have happened, but because you're basing that on because of a maybe if he'd got knocked out, he might have suffered irreparable damage.
Look, my concern for Sean Porter was in the ninth round when he got caught with that uppercut. As soon as he got caught flush with that uppercut, I knew that going into the 10th round, I hoped and prayed that that he was going to do feints. It was going to be difficult to hit, but he became, first 15 seconds get dropped, and then you get dropped by combinations that you're evading before. The only way was down for me. Only way was down. It would probably been better for all involved that the uppercut actually knocked his head off and knocked him out clean. But it was only going to get embarrassing for the guy. It was going to be, it would have got knocked down again and again and again. His punch resistance went for me.
Yeah. So I this is what I'm trying to grasp the same type of thought process. I'm either an evil brute or.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No. You're neither. Other fans have different perspectives because at the end of the day, it is the hurt business. They're prize fighters for a reason because we, as fans, we like blood. We want someone unconscious on the floor because that's what we pay for, and that's something that you talk about.
Right.
I mean, Chan, you're just a consumer like everybody else, like the rest of us. I mean, you just have a different, tolerance than the rest of us. It doesn't have to be, like everybody doesn't have to be the same as what they want to see. So you're not a brute. I mean, it's just you have a certain level and just the certain standards of what you want to watch as a fan.
Yeah, it's just like I honestly, I'm telling you, I didn't want to see him punished. I just feel that he had more to give, whether or not he was gonna, just as a man, like. This was his last fight, and you took that off him. Hey,
LadyChann, I can just imagine you in the school playground, man, when there was a nice little fight, man, 50-50, man. We're getting entertained, and some goody two-shoes who wants to become the class prefect goes and breaks up and spoils their fun. I know that. I was like that as well in the school playground.
I was the one that was fighting.
Is anyone on this panel surprised by that?
But here's the flip side. And I was the prefect.
That is a conflict of interest if there ever was one.
Confliction. I always have been. I've always have been, and that's what I'm saying. So I can see all different sides, but man, sometimes he just got. I felt bad for him, and I just think he was sticking up more for his dad than what his dad should have actually stuck up for him. I just think, like, if you're going to throw in the towel, say it with your chest. I threw in the towel and what? He kind of did, like, I don't care if you don't like it. And it was like, boo, like, whatever. Like, but then just don't say I threw in the towel because it was your fault.
No, I mean, it's like, I'm sure Sean is pissed. I'm sure Sean is pissed. I'm sure Sean is pissed off with his dad, but he's never going to say it.
He's never going to come out and say it. And you know, before that post-fight in press conference happened, I said, listen, he is never going to throw back his dad under the bus, and he's not he should, in my opinion, fire his dad, but he ain't going to fire his dad. He's going to retire. He'll rather retire than say, Dad, I don't want you training me. And he did.
He has retired, isn't he?
Yeah, so it wasn't a shock when he retired. This was just in between where the fight had just finished until
don't you think? Sorry to cut in, but don't you think the guy's retired because he's
done
given so
everything.
much to boxing,
Yeah.
and it was his last hurrah and last chance of becoming a time world champion, and he's looking at the situation. He's not going to. He's not going to beat. He's not going to beat. He couldn't beat Crawford.
No.
And he probably isn't going to beat any of the current champion. So there's no big fight out there for him. Sean Porter is, a big in my opinion, a pay-per-view fighter who fights in big fights. If there's nothing out there for him, what's the point? He's done everything he can. He's given boxing
he said he's not going to stick around to become a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew he wouldn't want to be a gatekeeper. And remember when I was talking on the prediction show to you guys, and I said about this, I touched on gatekeeper, and there's a lot of fighters, and I think it was Mal. Me and Mal was going back and forth on that one. And
you were talking about Crawford. You said if Crawford loses, would he be a gatekeeper?
Yeah, and I said a lot of fighters, they don't. Because you were saying, oh, just because you stick around doesn't mean you become a gatekeeper. And I was like, at that level, yeah, you do. And not a lot of fighters don't want to stick around because of their pride of being at the top echelon to all of a sudden being a gatekeeper. Because once you lose at the top echelon and there's no other routes for you to go, which I was saying, either for Bud or even Porter, because they're at the top.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you was talking about Porter. I thought you was specifically talking about
I posed a question about both. Yeah. About what happens if Porter loses and what happens if Bud loses and what happens if Porter wins and what happens if Bud wins. There's nowhere else for them to go. And some fighters are happy to be gatekeepers, but I know some fighters are too prideful. And this is what I said. I'm quite shocked about Deontay even Wilder, coming back. I just think that if he loses his next fight or two, he's too prideful to be a gatekeeper either. And
he might call it quits. He might call it quits if he loses his next fight.
There's a lot of fighters that don't want to continue, even though there's fights for them, but it's gatekeeping fights. And a lot of fighters don't want to do that. And I don't blame some fighters. If you want to, would I like to see Sean Porter still fight again? Do you guys think, because me and Mal was always like, I never really liked Sean Porter's fight style, if I'm honest with you. But watching this fight, I'm at the thing of, when he said this wasn't he wasn't training enough and all of that. Oh, bear in mind, he's got a podcast and that he wasn't even training up to do that. But in my opinion, this is the best that I'd seen Porter box, not brawl, box, and he gave Bud problems.
Yeah, you're not too far off there. I mean, I say he boxed better. I say he boxed better in the Ugas fight than this fight. Because even though he gave Crawford issues, like Bud was still pretty much in control for the most part, I felt.
I don't think he boxed better than in the Ugas fight.
No, I don't think so.
The Ugas fight was quite boring. We still got the fast-paced Sean Porter, but it was. I thought he boxed nicely. I did. I thought he boxed nicely, and that's why Terence was also getting a bit frustrated, and it took him. He always turns southpaw usually about round 2 or 3. We saw him do it Kelbrook. Yep. At first in round 1, he kind of was, I think, all the way orthodox, and I think maybe
round 2 he switched.
He switched into by round 2. Into round 2, he totally switched, totally southpaw. I think Sean Porter made him that uncomfortable because, put it this way, guys, what do you think about this? If we know as Bud Crawford fans that Bud only tends to turn southpaw if he feels that he's not getting the results that he wants, he needs. Or
I agree. Yeah, he does.
To feel uncomfortable.
He does.
So if he entered the fight orthodox and then switched southpaw, that shows that he was uncomfortable. If he always thought that he would be one up as a southpaw, he would have started the fight southpaw. In his head, he believed that he could beat Porter orthodox. When he saw it wasn't working, because in my opinion, I thought he was going to come into the fight southpaw because of how Sean Porter fights. But the mere fact that he didn't, it showed that he thought orthodox he could beat Sean Porter, and when he couldn't get the results, that's why he turned southpaw. How do you guys think about that?
I agree. I agree. Like he usually should, because Brooke was giving him issues in that fight when he was orthodox.
Yeah.
Then when
Yeah.
he switched to southpaw, and then the fight
Yeah.
completely shifted in his favor. Same thing with Sean. And
Right.
you know, I mean, like, because by the mid rounds, like Crawford pretty much seized control and was doing what he wanted, and you know, Sean was really offering much resistance to, in my view. And like I think that, and eventually, like when you know Bud really started to take it to him, Sean reverted the type and started to lunge in and was getting caught. And that's how he got. That's how he got dropped twice in round. That's how he got dropped twice in round 10.
Yeah. And what do you think, Mal, about what I said?
I mean, I think when he, my opinion, I think when he comes out orthodox, he's looking for a certain look. Once he gets that look that he's looking for, and he understands, okay, this is how this guy's going to attack me. Let me switch to southpaw so I can counter that. And if he changes the look that he showed me earlier in the fight before I turned southpaw, then I turn back orthodox. I think he does it based on a certain look he gets. You see what I'm saying? And once he sees, okay, this is how this person is going to attack me, what is the best method that I can come up with to nullify what he's trying to do? So he'll turn southpaw. If the southpaw is not working because the guy gives him a different look to counter the southpaw, he'll turn back to orthodox to say, okay, this is going to be the look I'm going to give him. This is the stance I'm going to give him based on what he, based on the look that he just given me, that this would nullify that. That's what I think.
Yeah. In my opinion, back again, I'll get everybody else's, sorry. Just my opinion, I think that Bud is way more comfortable as a southpaw fighter. I think he's much more comfortable. You can tell. You can tell. Greatest switch hitter in this present day, in my opinion. But I just see that if you have to change your stance, which is not a bad thing, because that is a fucking level up, that you're ambidextrous like that. If you have to change your stance, and every time you do win, I need to check the stats, because I don't know how many times out of his whole career he's beat people ending with southpaw. But if it's more times than often that you get more results southpaw, that shows me that naturally you're a better southpaw fighter. Does that make sense to anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa, Kenny, Lise, hello. Where's everyone?
I put it on mute so it could be no noise. Yeah, I agree with you. It's something about the southpaw stance for him where it's like he could see everything and where he's more dangerous. I mean, he's good in both stances, but when he gets in that southpaw stance and he's in his rhythm, he's a dangerous man. And that's when he comes and he just the check left hooks and all the things that he do. It's just like crafty things that people never see, or I'm still learning a lot about boxing too, and what I'm looking at. But I thought he was a southpaw, but apparently he's an orthodox boxer that
switch hit.
He's ambidextrous, like you mentioned. He's and those type of fighters are dangerous as well, because you don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah. And do you think so? Go ahead, Ken. What do you think about the southpaw, him being a naturally better in southpaw stance than orthodox? Do you think that, yay or nay?
Well, the thing is that it's the power, isn't it? The power of that left hand, and I think that alone, is a signature for me in terms of him fighting at southpaw. I mean, it was the left hand that finished off the well. You say prematurely, but
no, just in
essence, that was the punch that finished off the fight, and then obviously when he, I think he spun poor old Kell Brook around the ring, and I think Kell Brook is still spinning like Zebedee. Again, it was at southpaw as well. I've seen knockdowns. Like obviously last week we saw a standing knockout, but
with Harper.
Yeah, Terry Harper. But when you see someone knocked down and they're spinning like that with a left hand, I don't know what he's got in his left hand, but there's no way I'm holding pads for him if he's hitting me with like if he's using his left hand. Not a chance, mate. I need my shoulders.
I think the question I have is, what is it about other fighters when Crawford turns southpaw? What is it about them that they can't make the adjustment?
This is Mal. This is what I say. Like, he's telling you it's now annihilation mode activated when you see him in southpaw. I would be shitting myself knowing this is when I'm going to die now. Because he's southpaw. They don't seem to find any way to negate it though.
Because this is what he does. He turns southpaw, right? Mm-hmm. Once he turns southpaw, he's figured out pretty much what you want to do. So southpaw is going to negate that. Now, I understand what other people are doing. When he knocked Kell Brook out, Kell Brook threw a straight right hand. What's the southpaw's kryptonite? Straight right hand. Crawford knew I'm going to turn southpaw. Is going to bait him to throw that right hand because I know the kryptonite to a southpaw is a straight right hand. He's going to think that shot is going to be there. But as soon as he makes an attempt to throw it, he hit him with like a 6-inch jab punch.
Yeah.
It was like a jab. It was like a cross between a jab hook. It was something.
It was the shortest punch I've ever seen in my life.
A raised run-up punch.
Yes.
Run-up punch, isn't it?
When that kind of like that, I mean, see, Coach, the impact, like Brook ran right into it. That maximized the impact and hurt. It made it even more effective.
And Brook landed his right hand. I looked at that fight like 5 times. He landed the right hand, but he was already hurt when he landed it.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. So I think what it was is this is what made Terrence Crawford so good to me. He is the master of timing. Forget everything else. Forget the southpaw, all that stuff. He is the master of timing. My punch is going to get, you may hit me, and you may be piecing me up in the beginning of the fight, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. But once I figure you out, once I get your timing down, my punch is going to land before your punch lands. And I'm going to do it repeatedly. And that's what you saw with the Porter fight. Once he got his timing down, he started landing the left uppercuts. He's running into the straight lefts. He started timing them. Or he's going to come in, and get out of the way. He's the master at timing. And the timing and this. Once he gets that down, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, isn't it? Can we do the super chat thing for this, Mouse?
Oh yeah, shout out to Ron, shout out to Big Ronald Curtis.
The stickiest of the.
Sorry, I got the wrong one.
You want to smoke a
That's what. Shout out to Ronald Curtis. Roland Curtis.
Hey, okay.
We're dropping that half for bam dub on LadyChann.
Hey Leroy.
Super chat received.
Playtime's over, boy.
Roland Curtis, thanks for the half a dub on your girl, $9.99. Here is what you had to say. Was Sean Porter shaking after the second knockdown? I didn't see that, but Top Rank is censoring the second knockdown. Really? Not the first. ESPN is owned by Disney and won't show seizures because it's too graphic. Really? Okay. Oh, we watch it on Sky. So Sky, you can rewatch it. I've rewatched the knockdown. You got to slow it down. He was in a kind of like a track position, like when you're ready to start track, how he felt like one knee. You see the leg behind him kind of shake. And as he gets up, shaky. But wow, I didn't know that they censored out all of the second knockdown. That's silly.
That's why
watching it in real time, you never know. Everything's moving fast, but I didn't see that. I really thought he hurt his knee because the way he fell down.
That's another reason why Kenny
banging the canvas.
Yeah. I saw the shake.
Yeah, I saw the shake too. That's probably why Kenny Porter said, you know what, man? I never seen my son get knocked down twice in the same round. I never seen my son so frustrated to where he's pounding on the canvas. You know, let me go ahead and stop this shit, because this shit finna get ugly even more. So when you look at it that way, it's like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, I see the point like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many angles that you can to and fro from it, and then you can't say but then you want to say but because you still feel like as a man he could have gone on a bit, because he said that he said it in there. He said I wasn't. He even said I wasn't. The first knockdown didn't rattle me basically as much as the knockdown with Spence, but he was good to go. But he said it was kind of a contradiction, but he said he'd still never been hit that much and that hard by so many shots. And I think Sean Porter has like he said, I think he's got a good poker face, because he said inside, basically he was kind of distressed. He didn't know what was going on, but I couldn't see that. Like, meaning, all right, you could see him, some of the shots, like, but I couldn't see him that only until he got knocked down the second time when he was like, damn. But he said that was the competitor in him, where it's like, like, fuck, man, he's got me again. I totally didn't read it as, oh, I'm mentally broken and I'm fucked. And I read it as, I'm fucking pissed off that this dude has caught me again. That's how I read it. I didn't read it that he was in distress. And when he's cleared that up, he wasn't in distress. But whatever maybe he didn't show or he thought he didn't show, Kenny just read it. And this is what I'm saying. This could be a debate for time and time and time. And to take that debate away, that maybe that's me being selfish. I would have just wanted it super decisive, where we don't ask if buts or what ifs and maybes. The towel wasn't thrown in, so we could see more concisively and decisively what was to go ahead. We knew Bud was going to beat him, but I would rather that Porter was okay to lose instead of him being robbed to lose. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mal.
No, he didn't have a problem with it. He said he was getting hit. He said he was getting hit clean. He saw what his dad saw. He said he was getting hurt. He said that
but we're here debating it. So obviously there's a lot of people that have questions.
Yeah.
We're here debating it. We're not debating if Deontay Wilder's towel should have been thrown in. We're not debating if Deontay Wilder went out on his shield there's no debate. It was clean cut. There's loads of fights that there was no debates. I'm not saying that you have to be knocked out for it to be decisive, but I just feel that we're here debating, and we're not the only platforms that are debating. There's platforms all around the world debating. Was this a premature stoppage? I just don't understand why his dad took. You're going to get Sean saying, "My dad done everything correct." This is what I'm saying. He's grown up with he's always trying to please. He's never going to rag on his dad like what his dad just threw him under the bus. You'll never hear Sean Porter say, my dad was out of order. He'll say it in private, but never out loud, unlike his dad.
This is what I think. I think what it is us fans and the content creators, we did not like the way the fight ended. Nothing is going to change what happened. So, I mean, me personally, I've gotten over it. I was like, well, he stopped it prematurely. I'm done. You know what I mean? It is what it is. He wasn't going to win. Would I have liked to see it go on? Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, I wasn't the one taking the punches. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't the one. I'm not the father. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, everybody pretty much know what the end result was going to be. So, but that's it. It's not. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I don't think Kenny Porter. I don't think Kenny Porter was working for the Illuminati. No. I don't think Kenny Porter got bought off by Bob Arum. No. I don't think any of that. I think, Kenny Porter saw his son hurt. He stopped the fight. Whether I like it or not is irrelevant at this point. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
I have to cover it. This is my first show back since the fight.
Yeah. And I know, but there's a lot of people have been taught. That's what they've been saying. Yeah, they've been saying that. You know what I mean? And
there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
I've seen them, and I ignore them, and I choose not to entertain them.
You see what I'm saying? Shannon? That's what people have been saying. But my question is this: all right, was the knockdowns a conspiracy? Did the left hook? Did the left uppercut really did drop Sean Porter the first knockdown? Yes. What the second?
And he
fight,
said it didn't even hurt him. He said it didn't hurt. It didn't rattle him at all. He was mad. He was cool with the. He said it was just he didn't have his hands up, and what he explained was he wasn't in. This is why I think there's a debate, because what even though he's saying my dad did the right thing, what he's explained and what I saw with the first knockdown, he was fine. Even with the second one, it was a little, but he was still fine. So when your body is showing us that you're fine and you've got up and you're strong, but then you're saying your dad throwing in the towel was the best thing to do, which one is it? Was you fine or was you weren't fine?
Yeah.
You want the towel thrown in. You
So
should
does
only
this-
get the towel thrown in if you really wasn't fine.
So does this take away from Terrence Crawford?
No, because he was always going to get stopped, but Crawford was. It was close. I had Crawford and him neck and neck until.
Did you have Crawford ahead?
I had Crawford ahead by 1 round.
By
round
a
9,
point or
no, just
one round is a point.
I didn't score it.
you just go okay?
I had Crawford up 1 round. I had Crawford up 1 round. By the time it went into the 10th round, Crawford was already up 1, maybe, and heading obviously into 2 rounds. So for me, it was looking close. I knew what the prediction of what I said, that by the time it gets to like the 4th, 5th round, we are going to see Crawford etch away and start winning all the rounds.
You're picking up the pace. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And that's what we were seeing.
Yep.
But I just didn't see that Sean Porter was fucked up.
No, I mean it didn't really. I mean it didn't really happen until it didn't really happen until like round 10 when he dropped him. I'd say. I mean, but even then, I don't think I wouldn't say he was really that hurt.
He wasn't even in the first.
Yeah.
When you watch him get dropped, the first drop, did you look at him and go, "Oh my god, he looks fucked"?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh my god, I was like, "Wow, okay, well, you went down, dude." But
I mean, it was funny because I was on Ring IQ's live. We were having a watch party. And right before the 10th round started, we were all saying like, "Oh, it's going to be disappointing if Terrence doesn't get a knockdown." And literally in the next 5 seconds, bam, he dropped Sean.
What I did see is the second drop. Maybe I said there may be a slight haziness within his eyes. Maybe he may be concussed and maybe not showing us fully, and maybe that's what his dad picked up on. Like, I'm here all day. Brad Crawford, AJ and Crawford, favorite fighters out of everybody. That's it. I don't have any other favorite fighters.
Thank you, LadyChann. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so I don't. So what I'm saying is, I still keep it down the middle. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because Bud's my favorite thing. I only had Bud up one up, and I don't have no personal vendetta against Sean Porter. I think he's a great guy. A bit of a boring podcast, but do you do? But I mean, a great guy, a great man, a great family guy. I like Sean Porter, so I'm not ready to be painting a narrative that suits me because of my fighter. I just didn't see Sean Porter fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's why the towel coming in was total shock. Total shock.
You know what? This guy
too. I mean, I was shocked too, to be honest.
This guy right here, Rascal 222, and they make a valid point. They make a valid point. He says that every fighter says they're not hurt. We saw that with Wilder. He wasn't hurt. He was never hurt. Look at his legs when he got up. His legs were shaking. His legs were shaking. I did see that. His legs were shaking. So
yeah, but it was minimal. But to see Sean Porter's legs shaking, if there's a blink of an eye, you would have missed it. It wasn't like it weren't stanky leg, it weren't Wilder's Bambi legs, it weren't none of them. It was a slight and everything was right back. It was right back. It wasn't that where you went, oh my God, dude looks shaky now, man. It just wasn't that. And maybe that's just for me. It just wasn't that. I've watched so much boxing all my life, and it just wasn't that for me. It just wasn't that. And I can't just make it that for the sake that it makes
Yeah. No, I mean, you just said for your liking, you would have liked to see,
I just didn't,
see him go more.
didn't,
And there's nothing that anyone can say, do what that change your mind. And that's fine.
why I was so shocked when the fight had stopped. Well, you see when it was like, oh, what?
At first, I was trying to figure out what was going on.
I couldn't get what was going on. Could you, Ken?
I think we're all like that. We're all like that. Is that I must admit, when I saw the knife frame him getting caught uppercut, I was all interesting. And then he get caught. Then he got hit where he was on the seat with his pants. And then when the combinations went in, even then he beat the ground in frustration. I was thinking, okay, I didn't actually see the referee stop the fight. I just saw his dad in the apron, and the next minute, I just see his son walking around the ring, and the commentator said the fight's over. I said, ref, you didn't stop the fight. And then it's only when I looked, and his dad, is very forthright. So I was as shocked as anyone else. But you got
it why it was still stopped.
I still got why it was stopped because the last hurrah.
The last hurrah. But I wanted it. Did it make you not? But you saying that, Ken, because I was going like, even the referee checked him. Was like, it was, and he was like, was like, I'm all right. Even if a fighter's not all right, and they say they're not, and they say they're all right, neurological testing, like what a referee can look for neurological signs that they're not really all right. The ref was like, look, you're fine. Not saying that a ref can't get things wrong. Because I saw
that was the initial shock, and I was thinking, what? He stopped him because he's beat the ground, so he's beat the turf, which means all right, there's something there. And then but it is what it is, man. I've seen we had a debate when the towel was thrown in one fight, and the referee went, no, he's all right, and he threw the towel back out. So some refs do it.
Guys, I didn't even know a ref was allowed to do that. They could throw the towel out. I mean, I thought when the towel was thrown in, the fight's over. Like the ref has no choice but to stop it.
Well, this summer, I found out the refs are allowed to throw towels out. I didn't realize that. You know what I mean?
What fight was that in? Was that the Lewis Ritson fight, or did that happen? Or
yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay. That shocked me. I'm like, I don't know the ref can do that. I thought they have to stop the fight automatically when the towel is thrown in. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sean had a question, possibly.
Mal, sorry. Mal just has to go. Mal, you can say your hurrahs and goodbyes.
All right, man. Salute to everybody, man. Get everybody a round of applause, man. I gotta
see you later, Coach.
Yeah, for sure.
You just do Ronald Finkley super chat.
Oh yes, super chat. Okay. All right, shout out to Ronald Finkley for dropping that quarter of a dub on your girl.
Hey, Leroy.
Super chat received.
Playtime's over, boy.
I've watched. Thank you, Finkley, for $4.99 King. Massively appreciated. I've watched the LDBC shit on T-Bud for way too long, calling people raccoons while all along they are the problem. Yep, we know this, and that's why we root for Bud even harder. Yeah. But thank you for that super chat, King. Mal, sorry. Yeah.
Everyone so as it relates to that, because I have a lot of people reach out to me from that side of the street, believe it or not, few people. Yeah. I've talked to some of them. Basically, we're controlling the narrative now. Right now, the narrative has changed. Like right now, I see a lot of stuff that's going on. I'm like, okay, these guys are talking about the same stuff and I know where it came from, right? So the narrative, the days of one group controlling the narrative, those days are over. That's over, right? Yeah. So, a shout out to everyone, all of the boxing content creators whose shoulders that I stand upon and we all stand upon, who was doing it before we were doing it. Whether I agree with you or not is irrelevant. We're standing on your shoulders. I appreciate it. But New Media Today, USA Boxing. See you guys tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to everyone. We on Amazon. We also on Spotify, the podcast. And I see you guys tomorrow, man. New Media Today, USA Boxing.
Later, Coach.
See you later, Coach.
Thank you. See you later.
All right, Coach. Peace. Okay. See you later.
All right.
Hey, Chan, can I make a couple of points right quick?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, first, I just wanted to add something about T.O. and his dad, where I think that they're doomed for failure. In the Blood, Sweat, and Tears documentary, when he was about to fight Loma, I don't know if you guys saw that, but T.O. broke down in tears and started crying about his relationship with his dad.
Oh yeah, I think I saw bits of that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and also in Keith Queef Thurman, I call him Queef Thurman. He's not claiming he wants to fight Bud. Anybody believe him?
Yeah, no, I don't believe him. That was
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, to that I gotta say, careful what you wish for.
Because
thank you. And I'm gonna just leave it there.
Yeah, Keith Thurman is not fighting. He needs to chill out.
He needs to retire is what he needs to do.
Yeah, he hasn't fought for 2.5 years since getting beaten by Pacquiao. So
a 40-year-old Pacquiao. So yeah.
Yeah, so he needs to. I think maybe his days is done. Sometimes this is what I'm saying. There's some fighters that maybe
see what he's doing is he's trying to ride Bud's wave now. That's what he's doing. He's got a good win, so now he's trying to latch on to him to try to attach his name to a fight with Bud, even though he has no intention of taking it.
Yeah, I'm sick of all of that as well. Fighters that have
got clout chasing bullshit.
Yeah,
they need to stop with that.
They ain't got no intent of having that fight. It's just mad lame. So I think we've answered the questions to each other. Like, let's just go around the panel for a last final a final conclusion. So Kenny, was it a premature stoppage? Yay or nay? I know what you said, but we're just concluding.
I agree with the decision. It was not a premature stoppage.
Got ya. Lisa Bales, was it a premature stoppage?
In my opinion, slightly. But, I'm not a trainer. I thought maybe he could go on because he's a warrior at heart and in spirit, but,
Yeah. Got you. AJ?
I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah. AJ, premature stoppage or not?
Taking into everybody's viewpoints, what I said earlier, I still stand by what I said. I think it wasn't a premature stoppage. I agree with it because Porter wasn't going to win. I understand that he's a warrior. He wanted to continue to fight on. But it wasn't a premature stoppage. His dad, I believe his dad did do the right thing, even though he gave a shit reason afterwards that I don't. That didn't make any sense. but I do agree with the stoppage.
Okay, and I'm gonna still say I haven't changed any over my mind. I still get all the different angles. I still think there was a bit more that we could have seen. Just let the man be for just a minute, even if it's just for the end of the round. Or if you just saw that he took 2 more shots that rumbled him, but not necessarily dropped him, then cool, let's not wait for the third and we'll throw the towel in. That's where I stand. So in conclusion, was it a premature stoppage for me? Yes. And hopefully I get to speak to Kenny Porter on TBV because he's quite a regular that comes on there. So hopefully I'll get to ask him. I'm sure he's going to be asked this question 1 trillion times. So, boxes today are social media thingies. So I would like to say thank you to Kenny Ken.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
One thing I would say. Poor Dimitri Andrade.
Oh, God.
Wins. And I say this with, like the sincerity I can say. He's won, but no one seriously gives a
shit. I'm going to do a show on that, like midweek, and do it like an 8 o'clock for us UK lot. So would you want to come on? Let me know midweek, maybe Wednesday or something like that. Talk about.
I'll check my football schedule. I remember
because I don't know what day your football schedule is. It's a Wednesday, sometimes it's a Thursday. Sometimes it's a Tuesday. I wanted to talk about the card that we had in the day, with React Core and stuff like that. But I know that would be more geared to the UK fans because Americans couldn't get to see it. So I want to do a total separate UK show for us lot to chop that up about. But just let me know which day. I think actually Wednesday I'm on someone else's show, but that's in the night time. It's someone.
Don't worry about that. I've got wall-to-wall Champions League football on Tuesday and Wednesday, so. I don't know which game to commentate on. I'll take a pick, but I won't be commentating on Arsenal because we're not in Europe.
Won't be Arsenal. Bloody hell. They had your blood pressure rising anyway. You know, sometimes.
Yes.
So
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'm
we'll
sorry.
We'll talk about football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and we had the Sky card where it was all a UK boxing card that you guys didn't get to have. Boxer and Sky Sports.
Yeah, but I want to watch those cards too, man. I mean,
yeah,
like, I don't get a chance to see them.
They're not show. I don't know if you can see them now on YouTube.
No, they do release the fights on YouTube, so I could go there and watch them afterwards.
I'm not sure. It may say it's still not allowed in your territory. It could be funny like that. We get that with Showtime cards. We're not allowed
Gotcha.
to.
Damn.
You never know unless someone. The short ones, I may be able to record it on my phone, screen record it, and send you guys it, and let you guys, because there was 2 rounders where knockouts happened. Andrade obviously did the knockout in 2 rounds with Quigley. I'm sure the highlights is available. You can even watch that. They'll allow you to have the highlights. But yeah, Ken, let me know then if you're going to do Wednesday or whatever day, and we'll talk about the UK card.
I'll do it. I'll do my utmost best, because the other day the football, you know, I get a lot of demand with the football stuff as well. But anyway,
what are you doing on a day that you ain't doing any football?
I don't know. Football's a 12-month situation now, isn't it? Just like boxing, you know. Like, remember when we said last week in the UK, we boxing. There's fights now in January and August.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to love you guys and leave you. See you later.
See you later. See you later.
All right, see you later, Kenny.
All right, Ken. Take it easy, man.
Rafi
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Now, see you later, Ken. So some of this, guys. Well, then some of the fights are on YouTube now. You may, but Rafi, they may be able to see it in their territory, though. That's the thing. They may click on it and it may not be available. I know the whole thing's available for us on YouTube, but when it goes over to them, they click on the link. It says not in their territory.
Yeah, that's happened before. I try to watch guy interviews and they say, it's blocked. It's not.
Not your territory. So I'd like to say thank you for AJ all day, aka Alex, for coming on the panel. I'd like to thank Coach Malachi Williams for coming on the panel. I'd like to thank Lisa Bizzles in the building for coming on the panel, my sister. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So thank you so much, sis, for coming on the panel. And we are going to tell everybody. Paul Evans, thank you. You was in the building. Ross Clark in the building. Rafi in the building. Ronald Finkley, thank you for coming. And also, Ronald Finkley, thank you for coming. And also thank you for the super chat. Graham Taylor in the building. Paul Evans, Silvestri, all day, every damn day. Who else have we got? We got TJ in the building. Thank you, TJ. Love you all day long. I've actually got another show to do, but that's TBV Patreon, and that starts at 2 a.m. That's in 2 hours. Damn.
Okay.
So, who else have we got? Dragon Leg in the building. Bruce Goes, thank you for coming, Bruce. Janemba, thank you for coming. You're a new name. Witness greatness is a bit of a stretch. I wonder what is, or you talk about witness protection, but you're a new name. Thank you for coming through. Who else did we have? We had new media today. Shelton Moore, King Shelton Mismore in the building. Thank you, Shout, for coming through. Off Strength, thank you for coming through. Who else have we got? Scrolling. Haplo, thank you for coming through as well. Roland Curtis, thank you for this super chat as well that you gave earlier. Massively appreciated, King. Jury Jones was in the building. Toby Bartlett in the building. We had Hap Hector Garcia. Gracias, mi cariño. Thank you for coming through. Who else did we have? Dragon Leg. We had Dragon to the Leg, didn't we? Finkley, as usual. Finkley Charlo in the building. Thanks for coming through, Charlo. Daniel Arias, thank you for coming. Lennox, thank you for coming. Who's this? I've never seen you before. Tichoa, very premature. Tichoa says it was very premature. Yeah. You know, everybody has different opinions. So yeah, Fish was in the building. Hap Hap was in the building. Boxing, pound for pound, Jack was in the building. Fish was in the building. Oh yeah, my girl Bev in the building. And thank you, Bev, and thank you, Gorge, for the super chat. Massively appreciated. Kerry Willis was in the building. Sur Central was in the building. Thank you for coming through. Mad Chad Boxing. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out Mad Chad. And if you subscribe, if you like it, subscribe. Thank you, Mad Chad, for coming through. AJ all day. Mark Nash was in the building. Salute King Mark Nash. You guys go check out his show. If you like the show, subscribe. James Valdez was in the building, and yeah, that's where we was at. So what we gonna do? The normal. Anyway, I'm gone. Hey girl, it's LadyChann, nonetheless. Come box with Chan. Gyan. Chan has left the building. God! LadyChann!
Fight! Round 2, fight!